welcome to Wistful by Lilly the cat. Now, I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be just like chill world, but I saw that there was like secrets, so I guess that's what we'll be doing today. I found the video player and turned off the music. I'm not sure if that was copyrighted or not, but 0 to 10 oranges. Now I know when I was walking around, I know something that I could collect, and I thought those were tomatoes. Yeah, I never seen an orange with a stem like that. Probably because they all get cut off. So, that's really cool if they get stems like that. Now I admit, this world looks very nice. I do like it. I said it's a dark mode because I didn't like how. Well, okay, the brightness is just right. I just don't like worlds that are like bright. So I'm glad they added the option to make it darker. Now, collecting 10 oranges might be the craziest part yet. Now, obviously, I don't think all the oranges are in this house. That would be too easy, wouldn't it? It's mad suspicious how many bunnies are in here. Yeah, you don't go around collecting those, so. Oh, look, the oranges you find, they get put on the plate. But this is what the world looks like with dark mode off. It looks just right. I just prefer dark though. Okay. So I think that's all the oranges I could find in the building. Oh, you see that? You see that? Yeah, nah, that's evil. Lilly on some evil. Oh yeah, okay. That's actually vile. Alright. This is about to be the see, but I put myself up to this, right? You know, I like finding things in and stuff. So I gotta expect myself to understand. This is what I'm gonna get put through. Oh, that looks so cool. I wonder what this was supposed to represent. Now, with my legendary imagination, it could be anything. Like I can start playing scenes in my head. Problem with that same energy of playing scenes in my head, I wish I can actually start putting it into fruition more. Like, don't get me wrong, drawing is interesting, but then again, I feel like I'm not fully putting it together. You know what I mean? Like it's easier said than done type moment, which is crazy to me when I say I play out specific like scenes in my head. But then when I like work on it, right, I feel like I want to change it. Obviously, oranges from the trees do not count. At least I believe so. Look at that. I didn't even know you can even walk down this way. I didn't even think about that. Okay, how many oranges is that? I thought it was 8. Okay, 7 out of 10. Cool. First of all, is that the rainbow? Nice satellite dish. Ooh, people can relax here. Like a little mat. I haven't been on a picnic in so long. Think about that when you think about picnics. Last time I was at a picnic, it was at my school. Never got to do much fun stuff anymore. Uh, what is going on here? I don't know what. Okay, I don't know what things like these do. Things. I like I said things. Things like this do. But if that's what they're supposed to do, wow. Okay. I mean, should I be surprised that some weird giant supercomputer is able to control that? Probably not, but it's amazing nonetheless. And it looks so nice in dark mode. It's a beautiful day outside. Well, I made it dark. I'm still saying day. Birds are singing. Flowers are blooming. On days like these, oranges like you need to get caught. Because where's y'all at? Okay, maybe I'm not about to sound crazy. Actually, no, they can't be still. They can't be more still in the house, right? Let's see how blonde I am. I bet I walked past it so many times. Let's check upstairs. Now I feel like these oranges could be in just the right spots. Yeah, okay. I'm about to have reason to believe that there's no more oranges in the home anymore. So the rest are outside. Okay. So I'm about to assume it's somewhere on this open field. Did I ever fully walk this way? And that's a barrier. Lovely. Bro, who would have thought a hunt for oranges was gonna go down like this? I mean, well, obviously, if you're in any world where it involves you having to find something, you're going to find the obvious ones. That the difficult ones are going to be obviously not easy to find. The word obviously has to be the greatest word in my textbook, alongside of I guess and the third of being enlightened me. But that's is what it is at that point. All right, I don't want this to get repetitive. Okay, I could just yeah, but it's not that serious. All right, so I guess I'll bore you guys with something, right? So barrier. I'll bore you guys with that a whole barrier. So lately, I've been working on my zinc quarks more, and that species, or if you can consider them that, is strange because they work off an ability called consciousness. And what consciousness allows them to do is they're able to take the consciousness abilities and make it into their own, and it can even enhance depending on the consciousness of the person that they chose to mimic or copy. So how this works is it's okay. Well, my friend said my entire story is intricate. Yeah, it is, and it's complex. especially with so much I put in. And there's a reason why I keep going to that Trello and I put information in it, because all that information, I can't retain every last bit of it. So I'm so happy and I'm so glad that I use that Trello for all my sources of characters and information. But I'll just summarize zinc quarks. Zinc quarks are pretty much beings that were those parasites. I don't know if I mentioned them before, which are Deckerman's little parasites that was created by my quote unquote irrelevant character that you literally cannot understand. And what they do is they're supposed to pretty much have a redemption when they're in this form, because she feel like she failed her first, her first ever creations, which was those parasites. So if these parasites keep eating away of the space that they're in, they have a chance of evolving. Who knows how long it takes, but they will evolve and they'll get sent outside of the space that they're eating from and form a whole new being. Oh, there's an orange. And become a whole new being with a random consciousness that's pulled from with whatever exists in any multiverse that exists. And with that, they don't exactly start becoming. I mean, they can. Like, they will probably take, like, have some attributes of the said person they copied, but it would never ever be the exact same. All right. I mean, let's say, for example, I guess, like, say they probably take one personality. Like, say, the person that they probably copied was a villain, so there's a good chance they might be a villain, or they just might just be a jerk. Because obviously that Zinc Cork is still like its own being. They're their own person, and so what their powers is basically around is called consciousness, and I would say it's probably one of the most busted things I've ever made, because no negatogen can't just fight them, right? None of my omnipotent characters can't just fight them. These beings on a whole different level, and the only person that can fight them is the Omni King. And weirdly enough, another character that isn't even on par with none of these Zinc Corks level, but she doesn't care, because guess who she got? She makes an Omni King follow her rules and what she says. So she's not really worried. Um, I guess competing isn't like the full issue. I guess like in combat wise, you can kind of keep up if she's aware of that they're heading towards her. But if not, like if they start using powers, okay, that's a different story. So maybe it's not too off grid, especially when this same character is also like weaker than negatogens, arguably, because when she gets this boost, she's able to fight negatogens, and her own team is confused how she can, knowing that they all like her type of people. They have to work together to even take down one. But those characters are unaware of what she had to become in order to do that. And I've currently been creating like paths for each character that, or well, certain races of every character. I would say my favorite ones of paths that is fun to mess around with for each of the beings have to be the Dark and Marians, these little parasite guys. They are fun. They are so much fun. I find them fun because they mess around with everything, right? And it depends on what type of Dark and Marian it is too, for it to work. So there's something called a Novelio right? A Negata Marian, a Negata Jin Marian, which is just one that's fully controlled and one that's not fully controlled. Because negatogens are able to get out of that. They're able to break the control, but they still have like the parasite in them. So it's like an extra manifestation and they can't control it. So they would start acting more like a Darkin over time until they can control it, right? Um, Next is, first of all, if these same Darkin touch a mortal, unfortunately they can't do what a Negatogen can. Basically, anything that's not a Negatogen that gets like affected by a Darkin you're just automatically cooked, and it makes you a Daigor. Um, Now what's funny about these same beings with paths, right? These Darkin that have all these paths, is that they tend to be very very strange on how they operate. So even though it's a simple case of they just need to eat and that's it, right? That's so simple. They need to eat vessel energy. All they want is vessel energy. What is that sound? Is it the streetlight? It's the streetlight. And with that, they're gonna try to eat negate agents. Now, let's say, because I do have a character that is that, but later they get more calmer later because of some story start, because they listen to an Archmarian, and that same Archmarian gets like her Darkimarian removed, because divine vessels, or at least I'll say like enlightened ones like Chaos or Buddhas, they can fix a negated Jin Marian. They just can't fix a negata Marian, because they would just they have no choice but to kill the negata Marian. Now, how this works is they are so fucked. Like, all right. The reason why I like Dark Invariant so much is they're so flexible and you can do whatever you want with them. Like they're so free in a different sense, at least. I mean, yeah, the person gets taken over and that you can consider them arguably, I'm gonna say arguably dead, right? But the more the Dark Marion has that said body, the more they start having memories of the person, and they start literally being the person. And sometimes they forget that they are a Dark Marion due to that, because they're too busy thinking that they are the person. So not only do they take over the body, they pretty much assimilate their personality, their being, and they start being just like them. And they you really wouldn't know until all of a sudden they start transforming a part of their body into like some weird blade tentacle thing, or they start making tentacles appear from their body that's like sharp, and that's your only indicator to find out that, oh, this is a Dark Invariant type. And it's crazy because they don't really practice on eating anything else other than vessel energy. Once they can get a taste for something else, like if they're willing to, then they can actually be fine amongst negatogens, right? If they can control it, they'll be just fine. But okay, how would that work with Zinc quirks? I found that the most funniest, goofiest thing ever in my head. How I wanted to work with Zinc quirks, right? So with Zinc quirks and Dark Invariants, Dark Invariants cannot see the Zinc quirks because they're both still what I call Azarian. I call the species of both of them Azarian. Even though it sounds more for Zinc quirks, right? They can't see a Zinc quirks. Like, let's say if my Omnikin character talks to a Negatogen, and then my Negata Marian character is like confused who they're talking to. For one, that Zinc Quarks is gonna act like an elephant to like a mouse, right? Right, that weird stereotype. They're first of all, when they see that, well, they're gonna call it a thing for one, because they are scared of it. They are scared of the little parasites. They don't like them. They even if they take a body, they're still afraid. Like their instinct is to run. It is to keep their distance. Now, with enough time and help, the Negata Marion. I hope I'm saying the right ones because I hope it's either Negata Marion or Negata Marion. Basically the one that's fully controlled. The Negata Marion can actually go up to the zinc quarks. Now, what the negated Marian sees is they will see like a silhouette. They can't see the color of the being, nothing. But there's something there. They know it's there. They feel it's there, but they can't see it. So how bad it gets is they have to get handsy. I kid you not, they have to get handsy. So the zinc quarks has to be willing to stand still, as long as the negated Marian needs it, just so they can see them. Now, why do they have to stand still? Well, their mindset is still a little dark and Marian driven, so they would have to use their senses in order to see them. So they would literally have to touch, like touch, fondle, mess with, feel. They have to start using their senses, touch, taste, and all this other thing. So it's going to be uncomfortable for the zinc quarks, whether they like it or not. But then again, what is uncomfortability to a zinc quark? Because they're all kind of weird anyway. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it would be weird to any normal person or any. Well, okay, I kind of weird saying normal person. To any person, they was just like getting licked on. But of course, we're talking about like random creatures here, so they probably wouldn't know better. But that's what these dark and negated Marians would do. They would touch, hug up, lick, make sure they know what they're looking at, and then all of a sudden, it's like looking at opacity. They start to appear in their view, right? You know the opacity where you like start like taking things out of view and bringing it back into view. They start to appear into view, and it would confuse the negated Marian at first, but then they'll start being happy. However, you got a very uncomfortable zinc quarks that is currently shaking because it didn't feel comfortable. Like imagine like you have a fear of like bugs or you don't like spiders, right? Kind of like that. Like you got arachnophobia, and you let that same spider crawl on you, touch you. You're gonna feel so out of place. You're gonna feel so out of whack. You might actually lose it. It's like that. But that the darkened the negated Marian. I have to remember this. The negated Marian gets to now communicate with the zinc quarks. Now, what about the little parasite ones? Can the little parasite ones take over zinc quarks? No, they can't because they're the same. And not only that, the parasite can't see the zinc quarks. And since they're like these little worm things that like float over. Oh my gosh, that bird scared me. Oh my god. Alright. And since they're like that little worm thing, right? What's 9 times out of 10 gonna happen is it's gonna brush up on that zinc quarks, and that zinc quarks gonna scream. Like it's just straight up just gonna scream. Cause they can see it coming, they can feel it coming, and that little parasite is like it knows there's something in the way. So it's just gonna like rub itself against it over and over. And the zinc quarks is just gonna lose it. they're just gonna run, they're gonna scream. Tail between their legs type energy. Hide under the bed, all that stuff. Like yo. Alright, hold on. Let me find this. Let me get to the part where we find this last orange. Oh my gosh. I know I ramble too much. You know, this dev is very smart. I walked upstairs, ready to walk back into this, but I noticed this. And I was like, I didn't think it was anything until I saw the bunny and like it looks weird behind it. So then I proceed to walk over and I can see that I can now walk through, and now we have an orange. I feel bamboozled. I'm sitting here thinking, nah, there's nothing. Nope, there's something else. So what was the secret? What did I get? What did you win? Um. Oh wait, did I? No, it's been here, right? Huh? Remnants. Okay. I guess I'll be going there next then. Uh, I don't know what's in it, but I guess we'll take a look. But before I do that, let me do the send off. Hi, welcome to the video. This is Wistful By. Oh my gosh, what was I? Oh my gosh, this not this is what this world is Wistful by Lilly the cat. Honestly, it was interesting to find all the oranges, even though I couldn't find the last one because it was hidden behind a closet that was barely opened. You know, I should have paid more attention. Let's be real. Let's be real. I should be paying more attention. We know I'm both bad at doing that kind of thing, right? It's just a habit of mine. It's just a really big habit of mine. See, with a person with a lot of creative flow in their brain, when they look around, it's just like things aren't there, and then you start imagining things that aren't there, and it's you just sitting there just like, go, or it could just be my pure incompetence. But I liked it. It was fun. I do like the atmosphere of the world, the ambience and all. It fits even very smoothly, even though I had dark mode on. But if it fits very smoothly, probably should give it a look yourself. Have a good one. Bye bye.